wasn't very difficult finding her this afternoon. She's sitting perched beautifully in a marula right out in the open, and so it's exactly where we had the impalas. We literally drove maybe 100 meters from where we had those impalas, and this is where we left her this morning, was very close to this tree. I suspect that once she was spotted, decided that's where she's going to go nap, out of this long grass and out of the way of all the sort of flooding, damp areas and various insects and ticks and things that are in the grass themselves. Now, talking about flooding in damp areas, Ngala and Pridelands are both struggling a little bit with those things, but they will be joining us hopefully a little bit later. They're just busy trying to sort out some things that, some technical issues, basically, that has been caused by the weather. But yeah, nice of her to sit in the open. I thought we were going to have a bit of a struggle because they've actually graded the roads today, so there was going to be no sign of tracks if she had walked where they had graded. But she's, like I say, in a tree, beautifully kind of placed. I don't know if maybe now with the wind blowing the way it is that she's getting a little bit disturbed. I was hoping that she was going to stay in there for a little bit longer, because once she's down, the view gets quite tricky. It's not easy to follow her at all around this area, unless she's wanting to stalk these impalas. But as she comes down this tree, there's going to be an impala that's going to shout at her, because you see the moment she's kind of looking over her shoulder. So down to the right of the tree is actually one single male impala that is just standing to attention. And as she kind of comes down, she's going to attract his attention pretty quickly. You can just see him sort of on the right side of the tree itself. He's just kind of standing there and doing impala things. There's a couple other groups of impalas. If she can get down without him noticing, she might be in luck, but I doubt that that's going to be the case. Now, sorry, Gwen, the wind is blowing a lot. I didn't catch the name. If you can just give it to me again. So Baz, yes, there we go. I've got it this time. Thanks, Gwen. Baz, she does look very comfortable, particularly now that she's kind of dropped a paw. She's decided that she's just going to park her bottom on that little fork, one paw down, tail down, and that's how you balance in a tree. If you're a leopard, when you're standing up, I think she knows herself that there's too many impalas around that are watching for her to kind of get out of this very easily. So maybe what you'll find is she's going to sit there for a little bit and just see if that impala starts to turn. Then maybe she can come down pretty quickly and start to then hunt these guys. The weather has kind of changed a little bit. This morning it was overcast and rainy, but there was very little wind. This afternoon is very different. It's very windy, which plays into her hands. It makes hunting a lot easier, but it'll also be quite uncomfortable up in the tree with all the wind that she has. Now, what are you doing? It's not a place to be scratching. There she goes. She's going to come down now. Big stretch first, and then I think, look, you see how she's watching that impala. She doesn't want to be seen by him. I'm going to actually just move quickly myself.
What we found on top of the termite mound. We're on Torchwood. On top of the termite mound over there is the Queen of Juma.
You guys can come in here where we are.
I do believe. Yes, indeed. Hello, Tandy. Hello, you beautiful. What a gorgeous, gorgeous cat. We got a call that Tandy was spotted here on Torchwood, so we've been painstakingly making our way here, trying to avoid all of the wet and groggy roads. And the beautiful thing is, having a long lens like this, is that we can be parked here on the road and we can see her. Isn't that magnificent? So very, very exciting to be able to see Tandy. Where is her little naughty boy, I wonder? It's definitely Tandy. I can't see her ears, but I know that face, that look. She never looks the happiest, but her ears don't look right. Now, many times Tandy's been mistaken for Kuchava, or Kuchava vice versa. but they do look very similar, but there is a difference between them. Yeah, that's Tandy. You can see the ears are quite scraggly. Sorry to say that she's got scraggly ears. It's just the sign of age, everybody, of ticks and wear and tear and moving through the vegetation over her 14 years or so of life. Somewhere between 13 and 15 now. I lose track. The time out here sort of blends into itself in a big bubble. Hello, pretty. AC, it's your favorite leopardess. Well, Thandi is definitely a very, very special cat. She, I think, has got the hearts of many of our viewers. If I'm not mistaken, she's probably one of the most viewed females on the show at the moment here on Djuma. Kalamba is a busy cat as well, but definitely Tandy features due to the fact that she's had a few litters and dens have been found, and she's territorially been sort of dominant on our properties. It's made it easier for us to stay with her. When Kalamba eventually decides to settle down, which is going to happen soon, Kalamba, everybody, is Tandy's 3-year-old daughter. She was 3 in November, and it's time for her to have some cubs of her own. Tristan and I were discussing it on our way in from Hoedspruit the other day. She's a really big missioner, Kalamba. She's all over the place, moving and moving and moving. So hopefully she'll settle on Djuma, because Tandy seems to be taking up residence here in Torchwood on sort of the eastern side, and Kuchava's been historically in this area, so it seems like the overlap is sort of pushing up against each other. Kuchava is Tandy's daughter from a few years before, and so now Kalamba's fitting in. And that is the way it works, everybody. Female leopards will carve out a part of their mother's territory.
Right, so we've managed to find another leopard. Unfortunately, it's on Djuma, so we can't off-road. So I've been trying to go up and down, trying to find her or him. I don't know whether it's Xidulu or if it's another cat. I just saw the tip of the tail now coming through, so I'm just trying to see where she's going to pop out, or he's going to pop out. I'm not 100% sure which leopard it is, but there's definitely a leopard in this bush somewhere here. So we'll try and just be patient. We spotted them quite a long way. There we go, Xidulu, she's right here. So she was a long way in, and we just saw her tip of her tail, and then slowly but surely she's kind of made her way. There are quite a few impalas around, so we'll see if maybe, just maybe, she's going to stalk any of them. The closest impala is just up the road, but it's going to probably start shouting at her because she's quite out in the open. There's a warthog also behind us. Well, that was short but sweet, because she's going to cross straight into Arathusa now. Unfortunately, she's going to go right past our car. Goodbye, girl. So that's it, I'm afraid. It was a short but brief sighting, so we'll